to We're Reading the Bible. We're reading the entire Bible. Welcome. I'm Reverend Valerie Love at your service, divine midwife of soul destiny, the author of 26 books on practical spirituality, writing number 27 now. By the time you watch this, I may be on 30 or book 40. We don't know. It keeps growing and expanding, for which I am very grateful. We are reading the entire Bible. Today, Genesis 16 and 17. Let's go. Hopping over to Bible Gateway, and we are going to go to the World English Bible. The reason we're using the World English Bible is was fully elucidated on one of our former days. In case you didn't see that yet, it is in public domain. There are about 5 or 6 Bibles that are in public domain, and therefore we won't get into any copyright trouble. Yes, the Bible is copyrighted. Many people do not know, and I didn't know it myself until being an author and having my own publishing company for my works. I learned a lot about copyright, and the Bible is copywritten. Many versions and translations of the Bible are in copyright, and we must honor that copyright. That's the law on YouTube and everywhere else. So we are only reading from public domain Bibles. Genesis chapter 16. This is the World English Bible. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bore him no children. She had a servant, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. Sarai said to Abram, "See now, Yahweh has restrained me from bearing. Yahweh has restrained me from bearing. Please go into my servant. It may be that I will obtain my children by her." Obtain children by her. Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar the Egyptian, her servant, after Abram had lived 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to Abram, her husband, to be his wife. He went in to Hagar, and she conceived. When she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. Sarai said to Abram, "This wrong is your fault. I gave my servant into your bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, she despised me. May Yahweh judge between me and you." But Abram said to Sarai, "Behold, your maid is in your hand. Do to her whatever is good in your eyes." Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she fled from her face. Yahweh's angel found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain on the way to Shur. He said, "Hagar, Sarai's servant, where did you come from? Where are you going?" She said, "I am fleeing from the face of my mistress, Sarai." Yahweh's angel said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hands." Yahweh's angel said to her, "I will greatly multiply your offspring, that they will not be counted for multitude." Yahweh's angel said to her, "Behold, you are with child and will bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh has heard your affliction. He will be like a wild donkey among men. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. He will live opposed to all of his brothers." She called the name of Yahweh who spoke to her, "You are a God who sees." For she said, "Have I even stayed alive after seeing him?" Therefore the well was called Bir Lahai Roy, Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. Hagar bore a son for Abram. Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. Abram was 68 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. Footnote for Genesis 16:14. Beer Lahai Roy means well of the one who lives and sees me. Genesis chapter 17. When Abram was 99 years old, Yahweh appeared to Abram and said to him, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. I will make my covenant between me and you will multiply exceedingly. Abram fell on his face. God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you. You will be the father of a multitude of nations. Your name will no more be called Abram, but your name will be Abraham. For I have made you the father of a multitude of nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you. Kings will come out of you. I will establish my covenant between me and you and your offspring after you throughout their generations for an everlasting covenant to be a God to you and to your offspring after you. I will give to you and to your offspring after you the land where you are traveling, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession. I will be their God. God said to Abraham, As for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your offspring after you throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your offspring after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskin. It will be a token of the covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every male throughout your generations. He who is born in the house or bought with money from any foreigner who is not of your offspring. He who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money must be circumcised. My covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. The uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. God said to Abraham, As for Sarai, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but her name shall be Sarah. I will bless her, and moreover, I will give you a son by her. Yes, I will bless her, and she will be a mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said in his heart, Will a child be born to him who is 100 years old? Will Sarah, who is 90 years old, give birth? Abraham said to God, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. God said, No, but Sarah, your wife, will bear you a son. You shall call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant for his offspring after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. He will become the father of 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But I will establish my covenant with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you at this set time next year. Finished talking with him, God went up from Abraham. Abraham took Ishmael his son, all who were born in his house, and all who were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the same day as God had said to him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the same day, both Abraham and Ishmael, his son, were circumcised. All the men of his house, those born in the house and those bought with money from a foreigner, were circumcised with him. Footnote to Genesis 17:19, Isaac means he laughs. If you came here for the reading of the Bible, there you have it. And if you came here for the commentary, let's roll. There is a lot to say about this. Now, I want to put this whole story into context. The story of Sarai, Abram, names changed to Sarah and Abraham, Hagar, the Egyptian woman, with her son, Ishmael, and Yahweh, the Yahweh figure. Who is Yahweh? So I want to start by saying this story was written, once again, as we've said just about every day here. God morning, God morning, God morning. Come on in, family. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you for being in this conversation with us. Welcome, Love Tubers. And if you're brand new here, welcome. Who wrote this story? We don't know, because we don't know who wrote the Bible. That's the first big red flag. Who wrote it? We don't know. The only part of the Bible that people may think they know who wrote it are 7 of the 13 letters of the Apostle Paul. That's what biblical scholars say. Biblical scholars say it is likely that an Apostle Paul wrote these particular 7 letters of the 13 that bear his name. He didn't even write the other 6. We don't know who wrote them. The Dr. Nina Livesey is challenging even that notion. Dr. Nina Livesey, I will show you her book on Paul. Dr. Nina Livesey, and I will drop the link in the chat. She is a fascinating Bible scholar. Dr. Nina Livesey, there she is. And Dr. Nina Livesey, she has a book on Amazon. Let's see if we can get to Amazon. There it is, Dr. Nina Livesey Books. And we're going to start with the letters of Paul in the Roman literary context, reassessing apostolic authorship. This is the book that you want to read. Yes, it is pricey. And why? It's a textbook from a press that is a university press. This is not Dr. Livesey setting the price for her books. So before people get in the comments talking about, oh, these Bible scholars are just trying to rake people over the coals with the high price of their books. Many Bible scholars, their books are published on university presses. And the Bible scholar doesn't set the price for their book. And the Bible scholar doesn't get all that money. Far from it. So understand the pricing mechanism for books. And if you see a very expensive book written by a Bible scholar, it's not because the Bible scholar is trying to rake you over the coals. It is because of other forces that price the book beyond the specter of that particular Bible scholar. And Bible scholars don't usually publish their own work. I publish my own work. I have a publishing company. Most Bible scholars do not publish their own work. They write it, they do the research. They don't have time to be in the book publishing industry, so they give that to The publication people create covers, they put it on Amazon, they set prices, they they do many things. So I just want us to understand the position of Bible scholars, because many of the books that I recommend to you, they will be, if they were written by a Bible scholar, the pricing will be higher, and that's why. I just want to give a caveat to that. And I also want to say this is a paid link. As an Amazon influencer, I am compensated. I earn commissions when you shop my Amazon links. Thank you for shopping my Amazon links. You are so freaking amazing. Now, who wrote this? I gave you a little treatise right there on who wrote the Bible. We do not know who wrote the Bible. Now, this should be a very big point of contention for all Christians, because Christians claim that the Bible, this is the claim, the unsubstantiated claim is that God's finger inspired men on earth to write it. Well, who were these men? We don't know. Well, what were they thinking? What were they doing? We don't know. Next, there are only 7 of the 66 books that are in the Protestant Bible. Only 7 of them do Bible scholars think they have a handle on who wrote it, and that's Paul. Yet, Dr. Nina Livesey is adding something else to the conversation. It says, hey, maybe Paul didn't write these letters at all. And it is a researched scholarly work where she goes through point by point by point to present evidence on why Paul, a character named Paul, if he ever existed, may or may not have written the 7 books that Bible scholars say Paul wrote. I want to say the difference between what they teach in church and actual Bible scholarship. They're different. What they teach in church is that men who were inspired by God wrote the Bible. What they teach in church is theology, it's doctrine, it's a story. It's not meant to be fact. Greek mythology is not meant to be fact. What they learn in scholarship, right? Scholarship, when you study the evidence, it's a very different story. So keep that part in mind. We don't know who wrote the Bible. It is imperative that you have that in your mind as you study the Bible. We don't know who wrote it. Now, we can ascertain why these people wrote it. Why did they write Genesis? They wrote Genesis, the Hebrew people, the Israelite people who issued out of Canaan, they wrote Genesis and the whole Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, a group of people over hundreds of years. They wrote it, they redacted it, they worked it out. It's their origin story. They created an origin story for themselves. What was the basis of their origin story? Old Anunnaki stories, old Mesopotamian stories from Sumer, Akkad, Babylon, and Assyria, from these empires that were circulating in the zeitgeist. Let me show you a map, because this came to me yesterday as I was asking, how can this be even more clear for us? How can this be even more real for us? I want to show you a map. So we're going to bring up a map. Let's just go to Google. And what we want to bring up, Google Maps. What I want to bring up is the ancient Levant map. This is what we want. So let's go on screen share and let's look at the map, because geography matters. You know how they showed us geography in school? I didn't like geography in school. I was like, Doesn't matter to me where Rome is. I wasn't into it then. I am now. Let's look at, you want to get an ancient Levant map, a map of the ancient Levant, because this is the world of the Bible here. This is the world where the Bible is being written, okay? Now, you can see the Assyrian Empire. You can see, I'm not sure exactly what date this is because it changed over many, 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 many years, okay? But you can see where it is. Let's get this map to give you a little bit more of a uh, idea. Here is the Levant, where Canaan was, Phoenicia, all of that. Here's Mesopotamia. And Mesopotamia literally means between the two rivers. So Mesopotamia is between two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates River. Then this is the Levant. This is the area we're talking about where Abram was and all these Bible characters by the Mediterranean. And then if you come over here, there's Egypt. This is Africa right here. They want to tell you, let's go to an Egypt map. Egypt map. Pardon me. Yeah, map. They want to tell you that Egypt is in the Near East. Can you answer a question for me? How is Egypt in the Near East when it is clearly on the motherland, including Madagascar as part of the motherland? All of this whole entire continent is what we know as Africa. Do not believe the colonizers when you can see it for yourself. This, Egypt, clearly in Africa, clearly the same types of iconography, gods, worship, writings, many of that going down to Sudan and what used to be called the Kingdom of Kush. These cultures, interwoven cultures, influenced each other. These are African peoples. I don't want to say that these are Black people. This is not a race conversation because how we understand Black people today would not have been how ancient people didn't talk about Black or white people. That's a new concept. Ancient people knew the Phoenicians, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, Egyptian. You see, they described Hagar in the Bible as Egyptian. They didn't say what color she was. Color is a very new concept. These different people, they had different colors. There were different colored Egyptians. You're Egyptian. There were different color. It's just like, let me share something with you about this. If you have traveled the world, you understand this concept. When I am in America, I am a Black woman. When I leave America and travel around the world, I am an American. I'm going to say that again for the ones in the back that napping early in the morning. When I am in America, I'm a Black woman. That's what Americans see when they look at me. No, that's a Black woman. Because that's what you were trained to see by the powers that be. Because they want to divide Black and white people. They love dividing people. They love dividing people because then you'll never come for them, the overlords. So they keep people like this. Trump against this one, Trump against Kamala, Hillary against Trump, Democrats against Republicans, on and on and on. The other day, I counted up how many presidents I've lived through in the 64 plus years that I've been on this planet. I think I've lived through something like 16 presidents. How many of those presidents created my life? But people running around fussing about Trump. Trump ain't got jack to do with you. God said, you create your life. Trump doesn't create your life. Trump is creating Trump's life. So we're confused. We're very confused, and we're in the matrix because we're still believing politics. That's a ruse. That's a circus. American politics is a circus, not to be taken seriously, just as many religion not to be taken seriously. It's a fun adventure, not to create your life. You and you alone are the creator of your life. And that's true of everyone. Everyone's God. So we just keep that in mind, right? Ye are gods. Everyone has the same creative power and ability. Nobody got more creative. Trump don't have no more power than you. None. So please don't give that man power. Please don't give anyone outside of you power. Don't give Kamala power. Don't give Barack Obama power. We love Barack. I love Barack 44. First black president. Beautiful. I love my people. I just don't make my people better or worse than any other people. You can honor and love your culture. And I know that I am in a beautiful sisterhood of black women all over the world. I love being a black woman. I just don't think being a black woman is any better than being a white woman, any better than being a Chinese woman, any better than being a Japanese woman, because everyone's equally God. Get all that race shit out of your mind. It's making you little. It's not hurting the higher ups. It's helping them puppeteer humanity because keep you divided. Divide and conquer. That's the same thing the dark occultists have been using for thousands of years to run this planet. And you wonder why they run us into war. They don't go into war. They try to send our kids into war. They don't go to war. Senate, Congress, they sign papers. I'm gonna sign a little paper. Yeah, we're going to war. They don't send their kids. Is that a wait a minute? Y'all sat there and agreed and signed off on this war, and none of your kids are in the war? No, no, no. We don't let our kids go to war. We're going to come to the most disadvantaged neighborhoods around the country. And we're going to round up all the young people and tell them we're going to give you good college and good education, all that. And they do. They get your kids to go to war. Their kids are not going. So understand the system that we're in. It's the matrix. It's the matrix. So this whole black white thing, I'm going to keep talking about it until we all come into oneness. It's stopping you from being in oneness. And oneness is bliss. Oneness is peace. If you see your brother as an other, you are not in peace because the idea of attack is going to come up because they're over there and I'm over here and somebody's going to attack me. But before they attack me, I got to attack them or I got to put up a defense to make sure if they come over here, that's all from ego otherness. If you desire to evolve and be the God being you are, the God being does not see color. We're colorblind with regard to people. We're colorblind. Ye are gods, and God ain't got no color. And I want to say that I am not negating the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the work of Malcolm X, the work of Edgar Medgars, the work of Jefferson, of all our beautiful people who Frederick Douglass, Black Moses, Harriet Tubman, all of our beautiful black people. I'm not negating their work because they worked to make sure that black people were equal with everyone else. They didn't work to say black people are better than other people. And don't believe this lie that's going around talking about that only black women have the mitochondrial Eve. That means black women are better. Don't believe that. That is a wound of thinking you're worse, trying to twist facts about genetics to prop yourself up to be better. If you know that you're not lesser and you're not better, there's equanimity. Put it in the chat. Let me put this word here for us. It's a spiritual principle. It's called equanimity. Ain't nobody better than anybody else. Everyone is equally God. We are one. You are, each person is an expression of the one same thing. So look past the skin, look past the actions, look past the speech. Baby, Trump is God. And if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. Trump is God, Kamala is God, you're God, your kids are God, I'm God, everyone's God. In my paradigm, everyone's God doing what they do. Does that mean everyone does everything right all the time? Hell to the nah. Understand everyone is divine. If you exist, you are divine. The river is divine. The ocean is divine. Everything's divine. Don't parse. Oh, these people are good and these people are bad. Okay. You want to be in ego separation. You're not in bliss. And that's okay because maybe you don't want to be in bliss. Maybe you don't want to be in joy. I do. I want to meditate. I want to be in bliss and joy. I want the energy of the infinite source to course through me and heal my body and heal my mind. I was in meditation this morning. You feel the current of this infinite energy sourcing through you, healing your body, healing your skin, healing your mind, healing your emotions, causing you to be more in the oneness, causing you to be more truly yourself, more authentic, more happy, more purposeful. That's what I desire to live. I don't have no desire to fight somebody. For what? Baby, stay in bliss. Stay in bliss and peace and joy. Now let's talk about Abram and Sarah. That's why they're fighting right now because of this story. So this small group of people that came from, I'll show you where they came from. They came from the Levant, Canaan, the land of Canaan. They were in the Levant and they came from the land of Canaan, according to Bible scholars and historians. And where is the Levant? Right here. Do you see that they're still fighting over this? They're still fighting because of a made up story. They're still fighting right here. They're fighting all over here. All the holy people of the Abrahamic religions, all of Ishmael's children, supposedly who are Islamic people, all of Abraham's children, supposedly who are Jewish people and Christian people, all three of them have holy sites right in the same spot. Jerusalem is right there, the site of the temple, what's left of the temple after the Romans destroyed it in 70 CE. You have the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, supposedly where the wood from the cross that Jesus was killed on is under it. Now, how they figured that out, who the heck knows? But you know, Catholic people love relics, and I love that because I love relics too. And you have the mosque there, that grand mosque. They're all three in the same spot. And if you touch any one of these holy houses, this is going to be World War III. It's about to be World War III. Tell you what I'm telling you what I'm telling you. If we do not change our consciousness, we will soon be in World War III. You see Trump talking about Venezuela. Now I'm not a political person and I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I teach spirituality, metaphysics, magic. That's what I teach. Christian witchcraft. That's what I teach. I teach how to be your full God self and create your world as you were created to be. How to live your purpose and destiny on this planet and come into absolute oneness. I teach oneness, not ego separation. So I just want you to know that the colonizers who thought they were better than you and me, who sought to come into other countries and take over, the colonizers put Egypt in the Near East. Well, actually, Middle East. So if you look up, is Egypt in the Middle East? A lot of places will say that Egypt is in the Middle East. And if you go into many universities and colleges to this day, Egypt is in Near Eastern studies, not African studies. And we're looking right at the map right now. That's the mark of the colonizers still with us since the 1800s. still with us for hundreds of years, because the colonizers thought that Africans were savages and nothing good could come out of Africa. So they didn't even want to associate Egypt with Africa. So they called Egypt something else. They carved out something that is clearly inside of Africa. They carved this out and they put it somewhere else. Can you imagine? Change the map. I'm talking about they didn't put it somewhere else physically because you can't move a whole country. They put it somewhere else in your mind. Wow. Hostile takeover of your mind. When I was a financial advisor and we had mergers and acquisitions, sometimes it would be a hostile takeover of a company. It's a hostile takeover of your mind. And people believe it. Scholars come out of school. Yeah, Egypt is in the Near East or Egypt is in the Middle East. Well, I've been to Egypt several times and I'm about to take you to Egypt this fall for this fall equinox ritual and retreat, and to the temples and to the Great Pyramids of Giza and to the Sphinx and to the mortuary temple of Queen Hatshepsut and to Luxor temples, Karnak temples, and on a Nile River cruise. And you can see for yourself if Egypt is Africa. You can see for yourself. No need to believe anyone and what they tell you in school. Woo, money in the vortex. Let me get my bell. Yes, baby. Money in the vortex. Come on, baby. I know that's right. Money in the vortex. Look, thank you so much. Y'all are on it. First thing in the morning, baby, y'all are on it with the money flowing. Baby, I love prosperity, especially first thing in the morning. Now, we got Egypt over here in the Americas. Yes. So when I am in Upper Kemet, Lower Kemet, absolutely, that's exactly right. Kemet is the original name of Egypt. The Greeks named it Egyptos and translated into Latin, translated into English, it is Egypt. It was originally called Kemet. And I got to tell you something. The Anunnaki called it the land of the black-headed people. That's what they called the black-headed people, the land of the black-headed people. So this group of people that were in the Levant, why did they make up a story? Because they were getting beat up on the regular. They were ruled by Egypt for hundreds of years, as we saw the other day. Yes, burnt faces burnt from the sun, right? They were ruled by Egypt, as we saw the other day. Canaan was ruled by Egypt for hundreds of years. So they were ruled by Egypt. Then, next thing you know, the Assyrians came through and just trashed everything. And the Assyrians were cruel, super cruel. I mean, the Assyrians were skinning people alive. The Assyrians, I think they rival the Romans. You know, there are certain very bloodthirsty groups of people that were in the unusually bloodthirsty, unusually murderous, unusually ravenous. That was the Assyrians. Like, oh my goodness, the torture. They say they would just hang people up, skin them alive, and be eaten while people are just there bleeding out and all this stuff. Like, oh my God, the Assyrian brain, super, super, super intense. So when they come in for you, so the Assyrians took over and plundered them again. This is after the Egyptians. And then later on, you had the Persians come through, the Medes and the Persians, and the Persians once again knocked them in the head. Now, the Persians, this is where you get the Zoroastrian influence in the Bible. This is why you have Egyptian influences in the Bible, in the book of Psalms. Don't worry, I'll show you. Stay with me for this Bible reading. I will show you that Akhenaten wrote one of your Psalms. A Pharaoh wrote a Psalm. We do know something about that. Yes, the Hyksos, that's right. The Hyksos came through, and the Hyksos, they were, as a matter of fact, the Hyksos were able to conquer part of Egypt, northern Egypt, upper Egypt, lower Egypt, they call it, because the Nile River runs south to north. I know it runs opposite. So the northern part of Egypt is actually called Lower Egypt, and the southern part of Egypt is called Upper Egypt because the Nile River runs south to north. Seems like it's going against gravity, but it's not. So the Hyksos came through and they ruled in Lower Egypt for a little while as well. Well, when the Persians came through, the Persians bought Zoroaster. And here is a very interesting Persian influence on Christianity. Let's really understand this. Persia had good and evil. It had Ahura Mazda and Angramanyu. Ahura Mazda, the good, and Angramanyu, the evil. I hope I got that correct. Let me make sure I got. Oh, what's the bell about? The bell is about every time we get money in the vortex, every time we get a beautiful super chat or super thanks. Thank you so much for supporting the channel or new members on the channel. That's what that's about. Let's go to Zoroastrianism, because Christians do not realize that their religion has a good amount of Zoroastrianism or Hormazdu. Let me see if I'm saying this right. Hormazdu. There it is. Hormazda. This is the Persian Hormazdu in Zoroastrian. This is the sky deity, the god, the principal god, Ahura Mazda, of the Persians, which their religion was Zoroastrianism. And they had Angramanyu. Let me see if I can find Angramanyu in here, who is sort of the opposite of Ahura Mazda. Let's look at Angramanyu. Hope I'm saying this right. Okay. And okay. Zoroastrian. There it is. Zoroastrian gods. Okay. All right. So we have, there it is. This is the adversary. Angramanyu, the destructive spirit. Chaos, the source of evil, opposing Ahura Mazda and his creation. Does that sound like God and the devil to you? Because if it does, that's by design. It came from Zoroastrianism. Jewish people don't believe in a devil. Jewish people do believe in or understand Satan or Ha-Satan, which is a term used in the Bible, but nowhere is it supposedly the devil. People made that up later. Ha-Satan, Satan means the adversary. And it's a title. Oh, that's a Ha-Satan. We call it Satan the devil. Christianity is confused and doesn't even know where all of these concepts came from. I said, oh my goodness, when I studied Zoroastrianism, I said, well, this is God and the devil all over again. That's where it came from. So the Persians, that's Persian influence on Christianity. Christianity has Persian influence. Christianity has influence from Judaism. Christianity has influence from Egypt. Christianity has influence from Greece. And Rome, of course, probably the biggest is from Rome. So understand the origins of the Christian faith. Now, we are researchers. Let's talk about Abraham and Sarah. These group of people made up this story so that they could have an origin story. So they were already ruled over by the Egyptians for hundreds of years. They were beat down by the Assyrians. They were beat down by the Persians. And then the last straw was the Babylonians. The Babylonians came in after all of that. The Babylonians came in and conquered them and took their most elite people to Babylon. They took their scribes of the Israelite people. They took their scribes, or the Hebrew people. They would not have been called Jews yet. That didn't come till later. They took those people, the elites, and they took them to Babylon. Why did they do that? Because when these conquerors would come through, they would take your scribes and your priests and your elite people and retrain them in their protocols and practices. Now, the Persians, they were okay with you keeping your own religion, but some of these conquerors were not okay with you keeping your own religion. You had to have their religion. You had to be re assimilated into their theologies, their governments, their way of doing things. It's just like if someone comes, this all happens today. So if someone comes from Mexico, if someone comes here from Venezuela or Cuba, I'm in Miami a lot of the times, they're assimilated into American living. They don't keep Cuba, even though we have little Haiti here in Miami, we have little Havana in Miami, we have all these neighborhoods, yes, and people do keep a lot of their culture, and they're also now in a American culture. They may start to intermarry after a few generations. So when the Babylonians, see, if we understand history, we can understand the Bible. But in church, they didn't tell you the history because church is not interested in enlightening their pew sitters. They're pew sitters. They're not interested in enlightening you. They're not interested in empowering you. They're not interested in inspiring you to something bigger other than come and sit on a pew every Sunday, do exactly what we tell you to do, give us 10% of all your money, and then go out and get your friends and family to come here too. And let us judge you and keep you as a sinner and the dust of the earth. You're inherently, something's wrong with you inherently. Wow, what a destabilizing construct to introduce into a child's mind, that you are inherently wrong. Something's inherently wrong with you. Wow, I fell for that. Man, it's the guilt, the shame. You do something wrong, it's just this guilt, the fear of hell, the fear of an angry God. That's all by design, boo. They're using fear, guilt, shame to mold people. It's all by design. Yeah, you have to keep coming back, because if you don't keep coming back to church, church is over. You do understand that these are vampiric entities that need to feed on you and your energy. What if all the people stopped going to church? Church would be over, because it's not a self-replicating entity. It has to get, this is all energy. It has to get energy from you. It has to feed on you. Okay, so let's go back to the Babylonians. So the Babylonians bought the elite, the scribes, and the royals of, or the higher ups, the intelligent ones, the learned ones, not the rank and file regular people. They left the rank and file regular people alone. Go ahead, farmers, do what you do. Sheep, do what you do. Shepherds, do what you do, because these people are probably not a problem. These higher up, these intelligent people, these people that can write, these people that understand history, these people who have been trained and so forth and so on. We need to keep them under control. So they took them to Babylon. What is Babylon? Babylon is a reiteration of the Anunnaki, because you have Sumeria, you have Assyria, Sumeria, Acadia, Assyria, Babylon. It's in the same strain. So they would have gotten the same Anunnaki stories. The Anunnaki stories came from Sumer. And so the Babylonians knew about the Anunnaki. The Babylonians were big into Marduk. Marduk was their Elohim, their god, Marduk. And Marduk like reigned supreme in Babylon. So where did all of these scribes, these Bible writers who were in Babylon for all those hundreds of years, where did they learn all these stories? They learned it in Babylon. And then they said, hey, as a people, we've been beat down a lot. We need to make up our own story. And that's what they did. They got to making up their own story with remnants, with what they knew. And they didn't think they were writing a Bible. They're writing writings for the people that they were with. Hey, God loves us. We're the favorite. That's a good origin story. Baby, those people were so successful in their origin story that half the world believes it, still to this day, even with massive evidence to the contrary. To this day, people still believe this origin story that's in Genesis to Deuteronomy. Still believe it. They're fighting for it. They're dying for it. They're right now in the Middle East shooting people for it, dropping bombs on people, spending your money, our taxpayer dollars, to drop bombs on people because of that story. You tell me the power of story because of a story. Okay? So they made that story up to say, oh, why have we been in so much trouble all these years? Why do we keep getting conquered? Why do we keep getting beat down? And I think it was a great thing to make an origin story. They have the right to do that, the Israelite people. And when they made their origin story, they said, oh, well, God favors us. Oh, well, we're the best. Oh, well, they had to have a story to bring them up from where they were. Can you see that they had been really beat down for a very long time? For a very long time. So they made the story up. And while they were in Babylonian captivity is where they did the redaction of the Bible, is where they took Babylonian stories and they re-imaged them for themselves. And I will tell you that there are clues. The old Anunnaki stories are bleeding through. How do we know that the old Anunnaki stories are bleeding through? Here's one big clue. Yahweh didn't give me a baby. Remember population control after the flood. We talked about this the other day. Let's look at it. It says it right in Genesis. If we just read the Bible and just look at what it says, it tells you what it says. She said, this is what Sarah said, that the Elohim, Yahweh, their Elohim, who was Yahweh, put birth control on her. Do you remember we said the other day that not only were the Anunnaki excellent at genetically modifying and engineering people, they also did population control measures afterwards. Not all the women could have children. They introduced infertility. Yahweh, if we just read what it says, Yahweh has restrained me from bearing. Please go into my servant. It may be that I will obtain children by her. Period. The Anunnaki sealed up my womb. I can't have kids. So, and it probably was common because they knew, oh, the Elohim. Now, Yahweh did not exist in Sumer. Yahweh did not exist in Assyria. Yahweh did not exist in Akkadian and Babylonian. Yahweh didn't exist then. Yahweh is a newcomer on the scene. Yahweh is an ancient Canaanite deity, also known one of the 70 sons of El. Those are also old Canaanite stories, old Anunnaki stories. And you can tell that this is an old Anunnaki story redone, refashioned for the purposes that the people needed them for. It tells you right in the Bible that the Anunnaki could close up people's wombs. Okay, let's go further. Then it tells you that Hagar went out to the wilderness. But before we get to that, hold on. Yeah. Hagar went out to the wilderness. Yahweh's angel found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness. Now, I'm going to blow your mind right here. This is the first mention of angels that we have, other than the cherubim, who were a race of beings, a group of beings who were technologically guarding what was called the Garden of Eden or the Gan Eden. There are no angels in the Bible. But Reverend Val, it just said Yahweh's angel. Yes. Let's go to the original Hebrew, shall we? Baby, you ain't got to believe. I keep saying you ain't got to believe a random witch on YouTube. I hope you don't believe people on YouTube. I really don't. I hope you, scripture, are always ready to read for yourself. And I know you are. You are a critical thinker. I love you for that. Y'all are probably some of the most intelligent people that are here on YouTube, or in this community, because you certainly scriptureforall.org. And this is what we call the Hebrew English Interlinear Bible. Okay, maybe it's acting like that because it doesn't like my. Didn't like the VPN. Let's go to Genesis chapter 16. Let's go to the angel. And the angel. Let's go to what it says here. Malak. It doesn't say angel. A malak. What is a malak? A messenger. A malak. What's a malak? A messenger. It doesn't say angel. It's a malak. It's a messenger. It's a UPS dude. It's a post office guy or girl. It's a FedEx person. It's a delivering a message. These were the race of these are part of the Anunnaki stories. They had messengers. Send out a messenger. Go over there and tell Abram so and so and so. Go over there. Oh my goodness. Hagar is off in the woods, in the bushes. She's out there with this, and she's pregnant in the middle of the woods, middle of a desolate desert. She's probably gonna die. It's hot as jamokes out there. Go tell Hagar, find out what she's doing out there, and tell her to go back. What is she doing? She'll die out there. A Malak, the Malakim. If you want to see what it says, originally, there's no place in the Bible where it says angel. Now, you might wonder, wait a minute, Reverend Val, then how did we get the Bible? How did we get angel? I'll tell you how we got angel. Malak in the Hebrew Bible, messenger. When it was translated into Greek, in the Greek Septuagint, it was changed to angelos. This must be some kind of divine messenger of the gods. See, there we have a big leap. It didn't say that. It said a malak. It said a messenger. If we just take the Bible for what it just says a messenger of Yahweh. We already know Yahweh is not God. It just says a messenger. What is a messenger? A UPS person. A wonderful person. Do you know? I'm going to tell you something interesting about the U.S. Postal Service in the United States of America. Do you know that if there's a U.S. Postal Service person, an ambulance, and a fire truck at an intersection, who has the right of way? Who's the most important one? I found this out by law. It's the U.S. Postal Service. Before the fire truck can go before the fire truck and before the ambulance, maybe with a sick, dying person in it, and these people putting out a fire. And who has the right of way? U.S. Postal Service. They're messengers. They're bringing important messages to you. A Malak is a messenger. The Malakim is the group of messengers. Im is plural, a bunch of messengers. The Bible never said angel. There's no angels in the Bible. I want to show you something funny. You're going to love this. Hold on. You are going to love this. I promise you, by the time we finish the whole Bible, you will thoroughly understand the Bible and you will love it. Let me show you my book. Real God is not in the Bible. Let me show you my book on Amazon. And let me show you why it does not have complete 5 stars. Because this book is freaking awesome. And it ought to have 5 stars. Perfect 5 stars. Well, it still is doing excellent. I want to show you what a person literally said. And thank you for keeping this book. This is the ebook only. The hardcover and paperback are coming out on Kickstarter. I'll give you the date, but right now I'll drop the Kickstarter link so you can get the paperback and the hardcover signed copies. I was excited to read this. I'm showing you the 1-star review because the 1-star review is not of the book because the person didn't read the book, because Amazon lets anybody say anything about any book. I just want you to know that about Amazon reviews. I was excited to read this, hoping to get a new and interesting perspective. Oh, baby, I'm going to give you a new and interesting perspective. Until I read in the description, there are no angels in the Bible. While I cannot attest to any of the other large and seemingly incorrect statements, that one is 100% not true. There are 365 mentions of angels in the Bible. No, they're not, boo. So now I can't really have any faith in the other statements she has made. Hashtag disappointed. Well, Nikki, I appreciate this review. You know why? Because it shows me why work is not done yet, because y'all are still so hoodwinked and so believing what the church told you. And there ain't a word in the original Bible that says anything about an angel. But you are so hoodwinked that you think there's 365 mentions of angels in the Bible because you're a pew sitter. You sit in church and you believe what they tell you. And I can't help you with that because you got to determine for yourself that you want to free your own mind. I cannot help you if you willingly want to keep your mind in shackles. There's nothing I can do about that. Boom. All right. I wish Christians would learn Hebrew because they're clueless about their book. Clueless. Why? Because they believe. See, that's what they were taught. Oh my God. I got to tell you something. I love y'all so much for being committed to this, for being up early in the morning in the Bible first thing in the morning to find out that this ain't from God. And for all the comments and all the love on the Christian Witches channel, on the Valerie Love channel. I love y'all for this because this is not easy. Oh my God, this is not easy. Super chat. Thank you for doing this. It's greatly appreciated. I love it. It is my honor to share what I have learned. And you are intelligent. You are God's. You know what to do with it in your life and how to work with this information within yourself to come to new conclusions that work for you. Yes, we're free around here. We are free around here. So let's go back to the Anunnaki and their population control methods by causing women to be barren. It says it right in the Bible. I can't have a baby because Yahweh, the Anunnaki, put birth control on me. But y'all can have a baby. Then, what did Yahweh's Malak, not messenger, not angel, what did the Anunnaki's messenger say to Hagar? Yeah, you're gonna have a boy. How did they know you're gonna have a boy? Because they were doing genetic manipulation on people. They knew if you were gonna have a boy or a girl or not. Advanced technology. And you want to name him Ishmael. Ishmael, there goes the L again at the end. This is an Elohim name. El, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Ishmael. It's for the Elohim. These are Elohim names. Who were the Elohim? The great governors, the rulers, the magistrates. They were not gods. Was nothing about them that was God. Let's go. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The 10 commandments came from Egypt. Yes, they did, from the 42 laws of Ma'at. Yes, they did. I have the 42 laws of Ma'at. Hold on, let me show it to you. If you wonder, hold on. See if I can get it. Wait a second. Here it is. I know I just looked at it the other day. I have different versions of it. When I go back to Egypt, when we go back to Egypt, you can get it on a big scroll, put it up in your house. It's beautiful. 42 Principles of Ma'at, right here. This is the oldest source of African moral and spiritual instruction. Notice we said African. Don't act like Africans did not greatly contribute to the world. We always hear about the Romans and the Greeks. We can talk about the Africans. Not because the Africans were better, because the Africans are right up there with the Romans and the Greeks. In great, everybody on this planet came up with incredible inventions. And the Romans did not invent roads, nor did they invent inside plumbing. There's already plumbing on the planet from back when the Anunnaki were here, and you can see it in Teotihuacan, Mexico. Woo! Love that. The AI agrees. So you see that these people wake up. We are waking up. So you can see that these beings were able to control population. They were able to control conception and birth. They were able to determine what your sex of your child would be. And then they told you what to name your child. They were totally in control of these people. Now, each of the Elohim had a people group. There was an Elohim of the Egyptians. There was an Elohim of the Israelites. There was an Elohim of the Babylonians. The Elohim of the Babylonians was Marduk. Each of these groups of people had Elohim because the Anunnaki divided the people, and it says it in the Bible as well, divided the people to be under their rulership. Last thing I want to say before we wrap up, because we can't be here all day, right? It's so good. It's so good. Last thing I want to say about Genesis before we wrap up. Genesis 17. Let's go over to Genesis 17. So do you notice that the Bible skipped around? The story skipped around. Because at one point, it's not coherent. Because at one point, Abraham is 68. But then when Ishmael was born, see, 68. When Hagar birthed Ishmael. But then later, he's 99. And that's when him and Sarah can have a baby. Because now the Elohim are going to make it so that Sarah can have a baby. It's a little bit of a convoluted story because the way we got it in church was that this is how I got it in Christianity. Abraham was 100 or 99. Sarah was 90. Sarah couldn't have a baby. So she told, when she was 90, she told Hagar to sleep with Abraham. Abraham had Ishmael. And then Ishmael, was growing up with Isaac. Hagar and Sarah had a riff. Hagar left. Hagar comes back. Then God gives Sarah a baby. Then the baby of Sarah, who is Isaac, meaning laughter, right? Isaac grows up with Ishmael, and Ishmael is taunting Isaac back and forth. Like it sounds like they're together, but what we just read in the Bible is Ishmael was born when Abram was 68. And then 30 years later, Ishmael would have already been grown when Isaac was born. This has been a 30-year-old man. So it's either incoherent or it's telling you it's jumping timelines. It's going back and forth and you get whiplash trying to keep up. Wait a minute, he was 68, but then he's 99. You got to keep up with the story because plot twists. Okay. So I just want to point out that this is not going in any kind of, you can't, require that the Bible go in perfect linear order because clearly it does not. Okay. Tonight, we'll be in the mystery school. Tonight we have our live class in the Christian Witches Mystery School, and we are on the tarot. And we're going into our next tarot trump tonight phenomenal. I love the mystery school. So let me drop you a link to the mystery school so that if you would like to join us tonight in that discussion, and really any discussion that we talk about here on the channel in the Christian Witches Mystery School, you are more than welcome to join us. Hold on, let me copy and get you over to the Christian Witches Mystery School. And tonight we have live class, so feel free to join us in the live class. I freaking love you. Come on, super chat. Come on, come on, come on, come on, super chat. And the last thing I want to give you is I want to give you hold on. There's the mystery school. I want to give you the link so that you can join us on Kickstarter. Open your account on Kickstarter so you can be notified when the paperback and the hardcover come out. So if you haven't done that yet, I see several of you have already done that, which is beautiful. There are 30 of you that have already done that. There's 30 followers on the Kickstarter because when it comes out, the real God is not in the Bible. When the paperback and the hardcover come out, they will notify you. Okay. And then you will be able to get signed paperback, signed hardcover. And I'm telling you one thing, I am doing, don't tell anybody. Look, this is between me, you, and the bed bugs, like my grandmama used to say. I'm doing a book tour in 2027. The Real God is Not in the Bible book tour. So as you watch this, tell us what cities you're in so we know where to come for the book tour. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to be telling this story in person on stages across the country and then eventually across the world, okay? Why the real God is not in the Bible. And I will be showing you in person, and we are going to go deep, 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 deep in person. So get ready for the book tour coming up. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah. Peace.